Our breaking news this hour, Egypt is undergoing a full-scale military coup. Now, that's according to the state-run newspaper, which says the army has declared that Mohamed Morsi is no longer the president. Morsi himself has apparently urged both civilians and the military to uphold the constitution. RT's Paula Sleer is in Cairo tonight.
The crowd here in Tahrir Square is euphoric. That's following the announcement by Egypt's military chief that the Egyptian president Mohamed Morsi is to be replaced by the head of the Constitutional Court. In a statement that took just a few minutes to read, Al-Sisi said that the Egyptian people had called on the army to protect and defend them. At the same time, he said that Morsi had failed to meet the demands of the people. Now, the military is denying that a military coup is underway, but a high aide to the Egyptian president, as well as a spokesperson of the Muslim Brotherhood, say that this is a military coup, nothing short of it. At the same time, the crowd here have been throwing fireworks. There are laser beams being fired in all directions. They've been shouting, they've been cheering. Certainly, the sense here in Egypt is that history is in the making. The police have said that they will deal decisively with violence, and this is the big concern on people's mind. The police have deployed in heavy combat riot gear to all the entrances and exits of all the major rallies that are currently being held in all the major institutions. Not far from here, there are pro-Morsi demonstrators. So the country is bracing itself for major confrontations and major clashes. There are also questions being asked about the roadmap that the military will now implement. According to the army, what it will do is immediately cancel the constitution. It will replace President Morsi. It will call for early presidential and parliamentary elections, and it will set up some kind of interim council, some kind of technocratic government. We are hearing from Morsi's camp, from one of his aides, that he has been moved to an undisclosed area. There, in fact, has not been any word from Morsi for hours, other than an update he did to his Facebook saying that he rejects this army's ultimatum. The Muslim Brotherhood's TV channel has also gone black. Morsi supporters vowing that they will take to the streets and that they will be defiant in what they say is an illegitimate military coup. Paula Sleer, RT, Tahrir Square, Cairo.
Well, RT's Beltrue is also reporting from Cairo, and she outlined to me earlier how the political crisis in Egypt reached its boiling point.
Well, it's absolutely jubilant scenes here in the capital at the presidential palace after the 48-hour ultimatum that the military gave the president to meet the demands of the people comes to a close. We're seeing defiant scenes here, celebrations like a street party. It's extremely festive. People really believe that they've won. I'm looking in the crowds and I'm seeing pictures of the military, the heroes of the moment. The people here believe that with the backing of the army, I'm also seeing people brandishing effigies of sheep and wearing name tags with the name of the president on it, and also the names of the much-hated now Muslim Brotherhood leaders. People here say they've had enough. It's been an extremely difficult year for Egyptians. Speaking to protesters, they talked to me about a flailing economy leading to chronic unemployment, water and fuel shortages, petrol and also bread shortages, human rights abuses. They're saying they've seen no change since the January 25 revolution, and that they're hoping now they will be able to have a new president, a new constitution and a new parliament. They feel that at the moment they've got the backing of the army, they've got the backing of the government after there have been a lot of resignations in the last week. They feel that they've got the backing of the formal political opposition, and that this is really the will of the people.
That's RT's Beltrue there in Cairo. And RT contributor Afshin Rattansi, I spoke to him a little earlier from London. He suspects a foreign hand may be helping to bring about this sudden change of power in Cairo.
This is a US-backed military coup against the democratically elected leader of Egypt for all the problems the Morsi government represents. This is a military coup. The army, as we've been talking about, are very closely allied to the United States. Morsi gambled and lost as he kept on supporting the International Monetary Fund's neoliberal policies. And as for the people in Tahrir Square, this loose coalition of the opposition, so many different names, communists, anarchists, Islamists, people who voted for Morsi because they didn't want the army candidate in. There are just such a huge, wide variety of people. all thinking that this military solution is the one and will lead to other elections, and this is the way forward. This is a very serious situation indeed.
But
this is presumably the Arab Spring the way that the Americans wanted.
But the military are saying the people are asking for their help. What exactly are the military talking about there in terms of the people needing help?
Well, we've got to remember the history of the Egyptian military, famous for torture, mass imprisonment, brazen hatred of any kind of human rights, all through the Mubarak years, when, of course, the United States treated secretly, I suppose, Mubarak as their puppet. And then they applauded Morsi, 51% in the elections. All the time, the Americans were behind what Morsi was doing in economic terms. But Morsi couldn't handle both sides. What is interesting here is that President Obama is actively intervening in the Arab Spring. There is no way the Egyptian military would have gone about what it's doing without the say-so of the White House. And what that means is the Obama administration is now both supporting al-Qaeda in Syria, which is affiliated de facto with elements of the Muslim Brotherhood, of which Mohamed Morsi was a part. American foreign policy certainly in disarray, and now I think certainly commercial interests will be looking to Suez, because it's of course the Suez Canal which is of so crucial importance, critical importance to world trade. There are all these other reasons as to why Egypt is so important, not just because it's the most populous nation in the Arab world.